like 3 fighters are coming our way. Yeah. What altitude are you guys at?
Altitude. 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 Chat. Where? Altitude. 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 Altitude.
He's right behind. Flying phone crashing to the ground.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Shoot. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Altitude. 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 Pull up. Altitude. Pull up. Altitude. 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 Missile launch. Altitude. 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 Pull up. Altitude. 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 Missile launch.
Copy that. Just tell us what you need.